So since there's a mixture of new and old devotees, we'll take up some discussion spontaneously relevant to all. So how many of you have been exposed to the Bhagavad Gita amongst those who have come new? You have read the Bhagavad Gita once?
Yeah, also the
So you have gone through it fully?
I would not say that I remember it fully, but I have gone through it.
Okay. Anyone of you? Not much. So do you know what the Bhagavad Gita is actually? It's a discussion between Arjun and Krishna. And that in that discussion, the background of the discussion is Arjun is in the most decisive period of his life and he's confused about his duty. Sometimes life does not give you easy options. Easy options are like if you have to choose between the good and bad, it's very easy. But if you have to choose between too good, not too good. One is little good and something is little bit more good, something like that. Then becomes confusing. If you have to, even more difficult is to make a choice between two worse options, two bad options. So it becomes very, very difficult. In Arjun's case, it was something like that. He had to make decisions between two worst options. Each one was worse than the other. Because fighting for one's own rights meant that he has to destroy his own extended family. And if you don't fight, then you are destroying your own family. If you have these two options, it's so difficult. It is such that even after being victorious, you will curse yourself. There is a saying in English that the living envy the dead. Have you heard this saying anytime? Living envy the dead. Means those who are alive, they envy the dead. Now this statement came out from a person who has been part of the Second World War. And they won over. But after winning, when you see the destruction, the scale of destruction, the erosion of human life and families and economies and so many things, you become so disillusioned that you wish that maybe I should have died rather than being alive. So living envy the dead. Sometimes victory comes at such a price that you envy the dead itself. That it would have been better that I should have died, because this living at such a cost is such a big thing. In fact, the whole of European civilization after the First and Second World War has suffered so much, because of which they are in need of, not just now, couple of decades ago, there was a need for people to migrate and populate the place and run the economies and so on. Because where are the locals in? The entire Western civilization, especially the Europe and the American civilization, they lack directions. Why? Because most of the male counterparts who were supposed to take responsibility of the family, they all killed each other in wars. That's a brutal fact of this place. So Arjun is also seeing like that this war is going to create such an imbalance that people are going to just run helter and skelter just to find some shelter. That is the background of the Bhagavad Gita. So, first of all, we should understand this very clearly. Bhagavad Gita is not a religious scripture. It is not a scripture that because we are Hindus, we should know something about the Gita. Or because our ancestors were Hindus, we should know something about the Gita. No. It's an emergency. The discussion in the Bhagavad Gita is a discussion which has roots in something very, very serious. It's not a discussion where Arjun is peaceful. Let's say Arjun has had halwa and then he's coming for the next program. Not like that. For most of us, we have been invited to the programs, whether we came for the first ISKCON program, there is prasad, there is an environment and so on. For Arjun, nothing was there that way. For him, it is a do or die. And when it's a do or die state, when God speaks something, then that's a matter of emergency. It's not a matter of convenience. It's not an optional discussion that, okay, Krishna, you speak something, let me see how I can apply it in my life, whether it works, whether I find it logical or not, I'll evaluate myself. No, it's not like that. So unless and until one understands the spirit behind the Gita itself, one will not be able to appreciate the Gita. If one takes Gita as just a academic study, let's see what's going around. Okay, that's fine. You are lucky that you have that time to investigate, to think, to evaluate. For Arjun, he did not have time. It was a very tough decision to make. And not that even he had a couple of hours. The war was just waiting to happen. The conch shells were blown. And after the conch shells were blown, the whole episode happened. That's something. So it's extremely important that whenever we try to make our attempt to read the Gita, the context and the spirit is understood well, because without that, it will become probably just a religious scripture and will not value it. Religion means we may just take it that, okay, God is saying something, listen to it and just offer some flowers and worship, that's it. No, that's not Bhagavad Gita. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not tell Arjun to... The whole science of Gita is based on action only. Nothing else. Krishna is not telling to Arjun that please make a deity of mine in your house, make an altar, do puja. All those things are not there. Obviously, in the battlefield, when it's a decisive thing, you have to perform. Those things won't take place. Having understood this well, when you read the Bhagavad Gita, it's a very, very beautiful scripture. Along with the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, who established ISKCON all over the world, with the emergency and the urgency, understanding that this is Kali Yuga and people are going to be less intelligent in Kali Yuga. What does less intelligent mean according to scriptures? Less intelligent doesn't mean that you don't have your programming skills. Maybe you are expert in programming. Maybe you are expert in finances and all of that. These days when a person says, oh, he is a very intelligent person, that is based on the degrees he has. Let's say he is coming from Harvard or MIT or something, you say, very intelligent. He has 6 degrees, very intelligent. But scriptures does not classify that as intelligent. Scriptures classify intelligence based on if a person has an overall understanding how to conduct his life, such a person is intelligent. If one does not have an overall sense of what exactly to do with one's life, then a person is considered as foolish. A person who is foolish yet is arrogant enough to consider that, oh, I understand everything. Such people are called as moodha. Typically, if you translate it in English, it will come as rascals. So what is the difference between fools and rascals? Prabhupada uses that in many purposes. Fools means you are genuinely a fool. Rascal means you know that you don't know enough, but you are just arrogant about it and you still boast. That's a rascal. So, when Krishna tries to tell Gita to Arjun, one of the first qualification required is that, okay, you may be less intelligent that way, but at least you be honest. That's the first requirement. If one is arrogant and one has too many prejudices, and he wants that God should speak something which comforts me in my way. In fact, Krishna will never speak something which is discomforting to the soul. At the end of the day, the purpose of God is to make sure that the living entity who is living his life. Close the door. The purpose of God speaking this to Arjun, or these books coming, is so that we make sense of our life. Krishna does not need that. He does not need to make sense of his life. Right? It's we who need to make sense of our life. And therefore, it's in that spirit he tries to engage with Arjun in a very beautiful way. It's a discussion. So as you go read Bhagavad Gita, it's not that just because it's an urgency time, Arjun blindly accepts. He has lots of questions, and back and forth the discussions keep going on. Probably the only literature in the world where the listener is challenging God. Not in the spirit just to challenge, but just like a sincere student, he understands something, and then when he is not understanding a concept, he challenges that, oh, but you say like this, and why like this? Then I am getting confused by your own words. Can you just help me understand? And so on. So if you see that Krishna repeatedly tries to resolve Arjuna's doubts, and very beautifully, in the end he says, Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. Yatha ichchasi, however, whatever is now your desire, ichcha, whatever you will, whatever is your will, you do accordingly. He could have actually said that in the beginning itself, right? When Arjun did not want to fight, he said, I don't want to fight. But he did not say that, okay, don't fight, do whatever you like. No. Because he understood when Arjun did not want to fight in the beginning, that was out of confusion, not out of certainty. As I said in the beginning, you fight and you win, you kill your entire extended family. You lose, you die. So you have no other option. So Krishna thought that let me at least speak something to him, let me make sense to him in some manner. And the beginning of the Gita happens with this very concept that you are not this body, you are the spirit soul. This is the most baffling concept for the human being. It's easier for us to make sense that sit in the morning, do some chanting, do some meditation, do some this activity, that we can make sense of it. But how do you make sense that you are not this body, you are the spirit soul? It's one of the most complicated parts. When Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that, my dear Arjun, regulate your life, do meditation in such a way, try to understand transcendental knowledge, try to see me in this nature. He explains so many different concepts in different chapters. All of them are easy to make sense. But in the beginning he puts the most hardest of all. He says, he laughs at Arjun. When Arjun is saying that I am going to kill either myself or my extended family, and he just laughs. Hey, first of all, you cannot die and you cannot kill. Why? Because you are the spirit soul, and spirit soul neither dies and never born. So you are continuously existing. So let us take this theme of discussion. When you are continuously existing, what is the concept of death we fear then? If someone has told you, let's say if science acknowledges, someday science will come to that point to acknowledge How do you say it? If science says you will never die, let's say if that situation has come, then what is that you fear? See, I'll give you one example. Because you have this body, so you feel heat, you feel cold, and that's why you need air conditionings, you need heater, right? Because you have a body. Because you have a body, you get wet. Because you have a body, you have to eat. And because you have to eat, there is a variety in foods. Because you have a body, you have to sleep, and therefore there are varieties of how you can sleep. In what kind of bed, what kind of environment, what kind of light, what kind of music. People use white noise because they cannot sleep in silence. And somebody said better than white noise is brown noise. And I was thinking now begins the color palette. Slowly you'll have all different kind of noises. You have heard about it, right? White noise and brown noise, you heard about it?
No.
Okay. So brown noise is now the in thing. White noise is now done. So brown noise. So then some other noise will come. Anyways. But because you have the body, you have all these varieties. Because you need a house to shelter yourself, therefore you have whole science of architecture, civil engineering. Because I cannot fly at my own will, therefore I have this whole engineering called mechanical, electrical, aeronautical and so on, just to fly me or ship me here and there, right? These entire sciences, whatever you learn in physics, chemistry, maths, etc., 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 is only because you have the body. So Krishna tells Arjuna in the beginning, what is the quality of the soul? He tells, my dear Arjuna, first of all, you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. And let me tell you, before we begin any discussion, that my dear Arjuna, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, you cannot be cut by any weapon. Nainam Dahati Pavaka, you cannot be burnt by fire. Na Chainam Kledyanti Apo, you cannot be moistened by water or anything. Na Shoshayati Maruta, you cannot be withered or dried by the wind or carried away by the wind. Imagine, none of these elements can affect you. Now if right now you had such a body, let's say maybe Marvel or DC comic superhero who has some kind of attribute like that, who cannot be, the water does not make any difference. He can be underwater, over water. Fire does not make any, there is no wind which can blow. Can you imagine? Just think over it, what kind of element that would be. In such a situation, there is no hunger, there is no thirst, obviously, because you don't have the body. Hunger is of the body at the end of it. So let's say you are such an element. Then what good all these sciences are? The need for every single science vanishes at that time, at that point, at the point of the soul. So a person, let's say, who understands the soul, for him all these sciences do not matter. And that is what Krishna says to Arjuna, perform Buddhi Yoga. That is the first yoga which comes in Bhagavad Gita. He says, perform Buddhi Yoga, use your intelligence. You can just think over this, that you cannot be burned, you cannot be this, that, whatever. Now if you are such an element, that means the rains don't bother. There is nothing called minus 700 degrees centigrade, and there is nothing called 3 trillion degrees centigrade. Whether you are at the center or the core of the sun, or in the most remotest part or the coldest part of the universe, it doesn't matter. Your state doesn't change. That is that state you are. So Krishna tells Arjuna, by default you are mystical. By default, by very existence, you are so amazing. You are such a dynamic entity that if you just know yourself, you will be in wonder with yourself. Nothing in this world will attract you. if you simply know that you are the Atma which can never ever be destroyed or killed. What a powerful concept. Now, having understood this, then what do we fear in death? That's my question.
I think experiences, because over a period of we gather memories of experiences. I think we want to hold on to it or continue experiencing those. Because for example, there's somebody living and who does not have any memory. For him, it's like any material for him. He's living, breathing, but he don't remember anything. For him, he does not have any desire to live, but he is still living. But the only people who have a memories, those are people who desire to live long or live forever.
Now I think because when a living person is alive, we do not know what is on the other side. We do not know who is waiting for us. And I think that is the fear. Because we only know what is here on earth. Our family members and activities and everything else.
So
that's what we are attached to.
True. It's true.
I think attachments probably the people you are surrounded with. I think at one moment you are more worried about those attachments than yourself when it comes to death.
Like everything is a memory. Like when you say emotions, attachment, it's a memory. Like somebody who do not have memory, he's breathing, living, like somebody in coma, like he's living, but only thing he's not having is the memory. Memory will bring all those happiness, sorrows, because we can reconnect, think, relate. If there's no memory, then nobody will think to live or.
Yeah, so probably let's say there's an infant, he or she, because he doesn't understand life, he may not understand death.
Yeah,
They're living in.
Yes.
That's understood. That because
Yeah.
they don't understand life, they have no concept of death. But even if someone does not have memory, have you seen that there is a natural discomfort towards this concept of death, although there is no conscious memory of death? For example, when you see a truck coming very fast and you have to cross the road, maybe you have seen on the video that people are dying or something. Even if you have not seen on the video, we have seen young children suddenly, if this little boy is there, you do something like that, he'll suddenly get scared, right? And maybe even at this age we have seen that they have a sense of wanting to live. They may not understand life or death, but they have a sense of wanting to live.
Maybe like even a kid, only when they have that experience of a memory of a pain, like for example a kid, he knows that if he falls down, he may get hurt. Okay, but first time he does it, we know that he may get hurt, but he will not listen. He does it. When he burns his hand or something,
correct,
then it will register in his memories. Then the fear will come into body, soul. The next time if anybody pushes him to do it, he will be crying because he knows that there is.
So when you have never experienced death, why do you fear it? That's the whole discussion now. When there is no conscious experience of death, how have we presumed that it is going to be painful?
I think it's not only fear for death. It could be the journey, because death is a like a kind of a destiny. But before that, everybody's fear about the suffering or a pain. If death is like that, maybe even if you don't have to think. But for most people, death is not instant. Like,
let's say I give you a guarantee.
It's a painful.
Let's say I give you a guarantee that I have an explosive device here. I press it. In less than a second, we all will be in ashes. Just like a nuclear blast, right? People didn't get time to even listen to what happened.
Yeah.
The sound came later. So let's say if the nuclear blast happened in that radius, if you were just in that radius of like 1 meter or 2 meters, someone was very close, right?
Yeah.
Those who were 150 kilometers, they got affected and they got some time to
Suffer
figure out what's happening. But suppose it's just falling here, we won't get any time.
Yeah. So then no fear.
Yeah, there's no fear, right?
Yeah.
But that's when it happens that way. Suppose I just tell you that you are not going to experience any pain. I'm going to press this button.
Yeah. But
What's going to happen that
But
time?
still fear, because when somebody says there won't be a pain, but someone will not trust. What's a guarantee that it will happen?
No, we have an example, right? I've seen videos of people crashing within high speed. Some truck is coming and some car, 1 second it's blown to pieces. Seeing that, I know the person in the car would have not even realized that he's dead. He must be just driving and suddenly he's out of the body. There is absolutely no pain for sure, because the pain for the signal to reach the brain, even sometimes I have seen my hand, one time it got punched in the car door and it took me few minutes for actually the pain to manifest. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I have.
Sometimes you have a deep cut and there is no pain for some time, then it happens later. That thing starts paining 2-3 days later more than the first time, right?
True.
So if you are out of the body, before even the signals reach to the brain and the process happens, you are done. There is absolutely no pain.
Actually, the fear is, if you are little conscious about life itself, then everyone is fearing what will happen after that.
So first of all, the fear is not of death at all.
No, it is about what will happen to me after I die,
Exactly.
why I am born.
Exactly.
And then all these questions will come.
Technically, there is actually no fear of death.
But this will also come if someone is inquisitive enough in his life. He has got some little consciousness. Then only he will try to even have these questions in his mind. That depends also.
No,
on his-
yeah, that's different. Whether you can see, whether you can define it or not.
No.
But we have come to this conclusion that there is actually no fear of death itself.
No.
It is what death will bring. As someone said, maybe something else. You are saying loss of attachments. You have identified yourself with so many other things. Someone identifies so much about the future and then insecurity. Some you forget about the future. I don't care. I'm worried about the present. So in either case, there is some concept, but the needle is not at death. It is either beyond death or before death.
Correct. But it's also because in our Indian scriptures, I think Indians fear many times about death. If you see in general, if they are inquisitive, then they will go to the scripture, then they will see, according to my karmas, I will get the result. Now
That
they
is
will
fear
start
of
reading-
result. There is fear of result.
The biggest fear is, okay, if you start reading Garud Puran, then you have all the reasons to
No,
fear.
forget Garud Puran. Western people, they don't read scriptures, and Netherlands is kind of officially atheistic almost like that. People fear death. Even if they haven't read Bible or Gita, they fear death. Even if they believe that there is no afterlife, still they fear death. Europeans are still doing experiments to prolong life.
Yes.
No Indians are doing that experiment.
No.
They are doing experiment ki aur swadisht khana. more relishing newer and newer delicacies. They are not doing these experiments.
They
Maybe
want to
they'll do an
enjoy
experiment
it.
of doing yoga and maybe keep a healthy life.
No, Europeans, they want to enjoy more.
Yeah, still they
materialistic life.
fear death.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So fear of death is for everyone, for sure. Except for somebody who is highly transcendental. Because the fear of what death will bring. And fear of non-existence is the greatest of the fear. Let's say even if Krishna promises, what's your name?
Pranay.
Pranay. If Krishna promises, Pranay, see, you may not tell anyone, but I know you have a lot of trouble in your life. You have a lot of pain. If Krishna tells you, and you are trying to make things happen, which is everyone's story, right? We are trying to make things work. And he says, just get rid of this. I have a better situation. Come with me. How many of us are ready with that? Even if someone magically appears in front of you, let's say from that deity starts dancing and
What
says,
is
come with
deity?
me. Deity, Radha and Krishna on the altar. The deity. So if the Murti says, कि चलो आ जाओ, don't go home. Don't worry about your wife. I have taken care of her. Don't worry about your kids. I have taken care. They'll be better off without you. Because I will take care of them more better. Even if he promises this, and even if you see a highly metaphysical thing happening in front of your eyes, from nowhere this person emerged and then he became big. Think over this. Are you still ready to go? Even if there are assurances. Will Pranay say that okay, I am going, you take care, insurance hai, policy hai. Nothing. If Krishna says I have arranged 10 times more better things for them.
I think people would go with him because somewhere in one of the scriptures in Ramayana, at the end Ram leaves and he asks the people who wants to come with me, and a lot of people went with him because he wants to
example there actually.
So I think because we believe in God and we see that he is he said himself, will you come with me? I think people would go.
So you know who will go? Those who have some relation with him. If you do not have relation with God, no matter what miracle he does, that's not a convincing thing. Majority
won't
won't
believe only whether that person who has appeared has manifested. Even if you will say I am Krishna, our logical mind will not accept that, oh, he is there, he is himself or not, maybe someone else has come.
Maybe those who have no hope in life, they will join him. And some wise people may also join. I'm not saying people may not join, but the larger population will never join. Because they will not, you never follow someone just because they are right. If you have relation with the deep conscious works like that, if you have relation with a person, even if he is illogical, you tend to do that. And if you have no relation, even if he is logical, you don't tend to follow. That's how consciousness works. Even for in case of an animal, like when we see ducks on the road, definitely we have enough money to take care of one duck, right? Than one of the mother ducks. But that little baby duck will not listen to anybody. Why? Because there is no relation as such. Unless you have pet ducks, that's a very different thing. Then that pet duck will live with you, not with the mother. But it's a relation which is very important. It's a very decisive factor for us to take decisions. The larger proportion, so I'm just giving a hypothetical case. Even if magically he comes, what you said is very true. How will you convince yourself that yes, this is Krishna? Sometimes we do have intuitions in our life, but we are confused whether it's intuition, whether it's thought. And even if it's not your concocted thought, you are not convinced to follow the intuitions, right? Because you do not have relation with your own self. When you have relation with your own self, which is deep, you can differentiate between a random thought and intuition. जब अपने से ही संबंध नहीं है खुद से, तो करना बहुत मुश्किल है. So anyway, so Krishna, see the beauty of Bhagavad Gita in the beginning is Arjun has all relation with Krishna. He has a deep relation with Krishna. Despite all of that, when he faces an overwhelming challenge, which is killing your own family, then it's like, and Krishna tells him that, there was never a time where I did not exist, Arjun, neither you. We always have existed in the past and we will exist in the future, even including the present. And all these people in the battlefield, from whichever side whoever is going to die, they will all exist. They will never cease to exist. Natve vaham jatu nasam natu eme janadika. Sarve vayamatah param. Everyone has been existed. Despite all of this, Arjun gets confused. Only because some attachments. So attachment is something which can create, which can make things difficult for us to take decisions. On even if God is there, basically it's not here. Don't put yourself in, because none of us are going to have a challenge that we'll have to kill our family members. We are not warriors here. That's mostly not going to happen. I had met a person who was first in the Pakistan side of India, when India and Pakistan divided. So one of the family members became the soldiers in the Indian side and other remained in the Pakistan side, and both were opposing each other in the Kargil war. So one cousin, he called the other cousin on the Indian side, the Pakistani cousin. He said, what if now that we are brothers, and they would meet each other every year. But because that unfortunate situation happened that you had to take sides and you were employed in the military in both sides. So this person from the Pakistan side, he called the Indian colonel and said that if I send my helicopter to just do a recess of your area, what will you do? He said, love at one side. Love at one side, that's fine, but this is war. If you try to come this territory, I am going to shoot you down. There is no negotiation. So he sent one of his military guys with the helicopter just to see what my brother does. He shot it. So this brother, the Indian side, he was telling me. So he was very appreciative of the Gita. So he said, in my life, I had never imagined that such a situation will come. And when I shot down the helicopter, I didn't even know that it's actually my brother in that or not. And when he shot it down, then the brother said, I appreciate your loyalty towards your country. But it was such a difficult situation, whether to shoot it down. He said, please just don't come. I will not be able to do anything. So you will kill and you will cry. But at that time, although you know the truth, although you know death, you know life, you know everything. And then Krishna comes and says something. It's amazing. So that's why Gita is a very interesting discussion. And the concept of soul also is very interesting, because although it's difficult for us, we have to again and again remember that our entire life is just a subset of a very long life. So the soul is moving. Every now and then for you will have a covering on you, this body. For some time you enter one body and then you exit one body. Then you enter another body. So the soul is constantly moving through millions and millions and millions of lifetimes. Newer bodies come and go and come and go and come and go. So that's what Krishna tries to tell to Arjuna.
But how to understand it? Like, because we hear this a lot, but even you got convinced and understood, right? For normal people, then we say how to relate that or how to understand that. Because
so we may not be able to understand the future. It's easier to understand that you are not this body. But it's difficult to understand you are the spirit soul. These are two concepts. Actually, one concept, but there are two different ends or two sides of the same coin. It's easier to understand that you are not the body.
But when we say that this soul will be like continuous, right? One after one life after another life in a different form. Or
so I'll give you a very logical thing. When you look at your young, do you have a picture of you like 6 years something, 3 years, like, or maybe 1 year or whatever? When you look at that picture, if you put that picture here, none of us will be able to make sense of it. Or let's say 1 year is actually too young because you don't remember that. But maybe do you remember your 6th year of life, or how back you can remember, right? I remember my 4 years.
4 years, yeah. Starting from
4 years.
Yeah.
That's also very significant to remember 4 years. But let's say 5, 6, if you bring your 6th year photograph, none of us will be able to tell that this is you. If you see your photograph of a 6 month or 1 year, it is only because someone has told you this is you. You don't remember your infancy, right? But at 5 years you can say, yeah. Now when there is actually no connection with the body as such, except for the memory, as you said, the body has changed, and according to medical, biological, our entire body becomes a new thing in 7 years. Every single cell, even the bone cells, they replenish. So every 7 years, the complete transformation has taken place. The body which you was born, that is already dead, as dead skin and other things. There is nothing of anyone's body here which was there at the time of birth. This is medically proven. Even the bone, you may say the eyes are same. No, eyes के भी cells निकल के नया cell आ गया है. The new cells have come. So body wise we are already new. Every 8 years we are a new person, totally. That old skin is gone, new has come. So then what is that which keeps the connection between these dying cells and the replenished cells? Right? So logically you can deduce that, okay, you are not this body. For example, we always use this when we say that this is my hand. So me and hand are two different things, right? When I say my mobile, my phone. So the phone and me are two different objects. Otherwise you will not use the word my. When you say I am hurt, I am happy, you don't use the word my. You understand? When you see a comedy movie, you don't say my cheeks are happy. Because it's not the hands and legs are moving. It's actually, you don't say my tongue and my diaphragm is happy because you are laughing. You say I am happy. So suddenly, but you say my diaphragm, my cheeks, my hand. That means you and that object are two different things. And intuitively we can understand that. I do a typical exercise for people to get this understanding that I am not this body. Maybe we can do that here?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Please.
Okay, all of you close your eyes. Think of nothing as far as possible. With your right hand, touch the part of the body which I will tell you to touch. Your own body, okay? Forehead. And when you touch it, try to concentrate only on that part, okay? Belly. Right ear. Chest. Left ear. Right knee. Nose. Left knee. Right eye. Right cheek. Left eye. You. Touch yourself. Okay, you can open your eyes now. This is just a simple exercise to reflect that we are not the body. When I said you could not touch. It was confusing to most, right? Where do I touch? Because two people put here after some time, after a pause. Now this was the place for chest, right? How did you put you here? If this is the chest, this is the stomach, this, then where is you? But you are there, right? You were there all the while, but none of this was you, because nobody said you. Why you didn't say you? Because you are not the eyes, you are not the hand, you are not the leg, you are not the nose. You can replace the nose through surgeries, you can replace your eyes, you can replace your organs, everything can be replaced, right? Today?
Even the brain.
Even the brain, heart, everything can be replaced.
Thoughts.
Where is you?
Thoughts and mind are also not.
So why we didn't say you? Nobody said it. Some people said you here. This is a proof that you are there somewhere, but you are not the body. I hope that is very clear. To understand that you are the soul it's a different journey, but that you are not the body is pretty easy to understand. That you are someone who is all pervading.
Yeah, the confusion is like, I get confusion is like, what you said correctly, like the soul and the memory, because when you say when you say you or I, so the other way thinking is the complete, all the body, like other way like we can replace nose, brain and everything. I think like even if you replace everything, only when there is a memory, then even though I don't have a hand or some artificial hand, still I say it's me, because there is a memory of me.
Even if there is no memory, let's say you lost memory, and someone tells you but your body is replaced. That's when someone knows, right, that you are still there. You may not remember that this was my body. That's possible. That's possible even without losing the body. You just lose your memory and then one fine day you are just wondering, who am I?
Okay.
That's possible.
But
what I am trying to say is that we are not this body. That we are something distinct from the body. We are pervading. We are there. We are some. Then where exactly are you? If the heart is replaced, mind is replaced, everything is replaced, then where exactly are you? Who are you? Who am I? That's a very big question. So intuitively a person can understand that. And therefore the whole concept of sadhana is just that. That when we sit for meditation, when we sit for, let's say, chanting, for those few moments we don't sit that I am not Jagannatha, Priya, I am not a male, I am not somebody's disciple, I am nobody's guru, I am nobody's nothing, I am just nothing. I don't sit with my names and my designations of belonging to a family, nation, anything. Those 10 minutes I associate myself without the body. Because names and designations and everything are with the body, right? If you are someone's wife, you are someone's husband, you are someone's brother and sister, it is all based on the body. And also the memory, secondary part. It's all because of that. Once that is removed, then what are you? So this whole concept is like, okay, through negation you can understand. Remove this. If you remove one hand, if you lose one hand, people say, I lost my hand in the war. I lost my leg. You can keep removing and still you exist. After all removal, you exist. So Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that even when you die, you exist. In a way, that's a very assuring philosophy. Not just a philosophy. Now, I don't want to make it a philosophical journey. It's a very intuitive, logical understanding.
But will we be able to understand, or sometimes we just need to accept that there is a soul?
You
and
can
just
understand.
That,
See, the very fact that you can understand. See, in the 13th chapter, there is an interesting concept where The very fact that when you look at the mirror and say that this is me, that means that that is not you. Why? Because if that was true, that that was you, then a dead body also should recognize itself. Correct?
Yeah.
When I look in the mirror and say, oh, this is me. So if I am dead, then bring the dead body in front of the mirror. Will the dead body recognize? No. So the very fact that I am recognizing in a manner or in a matter of misunderstanding, that's a proof that I am not the body. Because if I were just the body, then the body is dead at all times. It is only the presence of soul which makes it feel alive. If the soul is removed, the concept of growth diminishes. The body in itself is dead. It is dead matter at any given point of time. It is the presence of soul which makes it feel alive.
And this
I hope you understand.
This soul is mainly specific to the human or animals, or it's also a plant? Also
Everywhere. Every living entity.
You can't experience it.
Yeah.
See, आत्मा अगर निकल गया तो फिर झाड़ भी सूख जाता है. It will die.
But
It will not
what
revive.
he is trying to understand is how do you perceive it? It's you cannot experience soul.
No, you can experience. You may not be able to explain.
No, it's very easy to understand that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not
So
this.
eventually you can also understand that you are not the soul. That is the whole journey. That is sadhana.
Of course.
That is why Krishna is saying, if you have got, it's only the human body which has this facility to get deeper. Otherwise you can spend your entire life playing with your senses and desires, and then you get lost in your day-to-day affairs. You get lost in your day-to-day affairs. And so many distractions and so much noise all over life or the entire life, that you don't pay attention to focus on the main thing for which the human body has been made. The specific, rarest of the rare thing which only the human species has. An ability to understand the truth.
It's consciousness.
To go beyond the self. You can train a dog to probably do, or you can train a robot or AI robot to do your chores and everything. You cannot train a robot to liberate itself. If you talk to a dog, no matter you try, it will probably, a parrot may repeat the entire Vishnu Sahasranam or Hare Krishna mantra, it may sing like as beautiful as Archie sings. Possible. But you tell the parrot, you are an Atma. You are not this body. So the dog will just it will just bow down. Give me my biscuit, I'll do anything. It's like that. Except the human species, which has an ability, a specific intelligence, which is called as buddhi. That buddhi is different from animal. Animals have intelligence, they don't have intellect. You know the difference between the both. The ability to reason your own intelligence is intellect. Sometimes you get intelligence, okay, how can I succeed and this and that, and you may think that, okay, to succeed I may have to cheat this person, I can do this thing, I see these gaps and I can do this. But then there is something else which says that no, this is not right, don't do it this way. Probably you can choose an honest path and work hard and do. So you will design a full different set of intelligence to operate because this is not right. Correct? Animals cannot do this. They are driven by instincts. They are not designed to question their own self. It's not possible.
But what both these achieve, end of the day, like what they both achieve, like human and animal, both are meant to be living life, but we just have intellect, we complicate things. They don't have intellect, they are living
both
as
are not
per the nature.
Yeah, so both are not meant to just live life. Every species has been given a specific ability to contribute to the ecosystem in some manner.
But if animal, because in the nature, nature has defined. Okay, if you don't use the intellect, the nature will drive you to live a life.
Still,
if you in a forest, you see all animals, they're driven. Nobody will control, manage. they don't starve, everything is managed by nature. Nature is already managing, because just we have intellect, we going against nature to think we are.
Yeah, so in the ecosystem, when you remove one part, right? Suppose you remove spiders from the planet, it will affect so many other species. It is not one.
Yes.
So many. Do you know there is one species, if it is removed, there is no impact on the planet?
Human.
Only human. That is also proof in the biological concept of ecosystem that you actually are not meant to do anything in this world technically. Specifically, you are designed for a very different purpose. For example, the worms have a purpose, the insects have a purpose, and everybody is contributing to everyone else. But human beings' presence or absence does not make any difference in the entire ecosystem. Then what is human being doing?
Just because of having intellect.
Because having a specific intellect.
That is causing a problem.
No, it's not problem.
From animals.
It's an intellect. Now, whether it causes a problem or it doesn't cause it, these are two different things. But it has an ability which is something else. So biologically also we are designed to do something else. We are not designed simply to live.
But why we believe in that? Like, why can't?
No, I am not saying. That's why I said in the beginning, don't take this as a religious book. It's
no. I'm in general. Like, why we just making complicated that we need to live and do beyond that.
So that's why our scriptures say, Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi naranam. That without the concept of dharma, without the concept of righteousness, we are no better than animals. See, no animals need books. And these books are not exactly designed by God per se. Of course, the content is designed, but human beings have made schools. Human beings have thought, let us do a training program. Human beings have done all of this. Why? Because you have a specific ability which is extraordinary. So this ability is not just to construct a house. This ability is not just given that we will eat something here and there or make our nice. Of course we have to do that. As a species we have to take care of our food, clothing, shelter, but we are not limited to that. When a human being just limits its abilities just to that, then that human being is called as Pashu. Pashu, you understand Pashu? Pashu means?
Animal.
Animal.
No, I'm trying to understand. Even if they call it a Pashu also, what's the wrong? Like I mean that what human
I'll tell you what's wrong. What
they are doing for this mankind. Like if humans are so intellect and
so you are supposed to do, then only you are not. Otherwise you are Pashu. If you are not doing great for the mankind or uplifting yourself, then you are only Pashu. That's what it says. Ahar nidra bhaya maithunam samanyam etat pashubi-naranam. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending is common between human beings and animals. They do. Everyone eats. A worm on the tree here or in the soil is not thinking that you are going to have nice prasad. I didn't get halwa or puri or pakoda. No. It says that I am having my meal very nice. The bird is picking that worm and feeling I had a juicy worm today. It was so tasty. They are okay. And there are some pigs who will eat stool and they will relish it. Just like you will relish gulab jamun, they will probably relish that. So as far as eating is concerned, it is common. You may eat in different manner. As far as sleeping is concerned, it is common to us all. You may sleep in a different manner. As far as mating is there, it's common to all. Every species procreates. Human beings get programmed and how do animals just understand how to procreate and take care of children? Is human species only someone has to guide, now how to take care of baby? Probably when you got your father and mother will tell something, your father, mother will guide you, you will have 10 phone calls to do. How does it happen in animal kingdom? They just procreate and they just know how to protect. It's all instinctively driven. So eating, sleeping, mating. We may think that I have the most beautiful spouse in the world and the most beautiful girlfriend in the world. The dog doesn't care for it. The bird doesn't care. So because they have their own counterparts. So mating is a very Common principle. So don't make a fuss about your eating, sleeping, mating. That's what scripture says. It's common to all. As far as these basic defending, or the principle of bhaya, means to take care of oneself. Every species will make its own nest. They make their holes. They choose their caves. We have our visas, passports, locks, and this and that, whatever. Right? We have our own security systems, country-wise, individual. So it is common. Apart from these four things, what is there which is different between a specifically human being and animal? That scriptures ask us.
For example, if there is a person who just focuses on life, like
no, tell me what is difference between, apart from this four, what is the unique thing which human being has? These scriptures are asking us.
Oh,
Dharma.
Let him say. Animals also have dharma, by the way.
Yeah, correct.
They also function within their own. What is that?
what is the question? Sorry.
Eating, sleeping, mating and defending is common between humans and animals. How does why human is so different? Why human is at the top of the ecosystem, in the pyramid?
I think it's just human. They're putting themselves on.
No, let's say lion, why does it not put itself there? Will it exist? Can the lion rule the civilization?
But why one should rule something?
No.
Like
As a species, which species can compete with a man to surpass the ability of human?
I think it depends where you are, right? In jungle, probably lion will
No,
surpass and in
that is you. I'm not talking of a forest.
Yeah.
Can a lion,
No species actually.
can a lion or tiger one day rule the earth and then decide that I want to go to Mars and I want to go to moon and I want to govern all the species? Can any species
No.
surpass humans?
No.
No, the intelligence and consciousness both are missing.
Those are missing.
Yeah.
This is exactly the difference between humans and animals. Every species will be confined to itself only. Even if a lion can rule a forest, it is confined to its lionness. You understand? It is only the human which is not confined to humanness. A human can swim like a fish. Human desires to swim in water. Human desires to fly. A bird never feels, how wonderful it will be that I also do underwater swimming and get Olympics gold medal. The fish does not swim, how I wish I would be flying like this crane who comes and picks my babies and eating up. They don't have that sense at all. A lion does not see a human and feel that if I would have been a human, I would have put them in cage. I'm saying.
But if you see the result, we are like everything
Sanjay.
is fine.
Sanjay, maybe we can take questions later.
Yeah,
let's
okay,
let's
sorry.
hear the conclusion from Prabhu.
No, this is a discussion only. It's fine. I
Okay.
want them to just think on the point. Yes.
No, just we accept the human is great, everything. But end of the day, what we see is the result, right? When you see on this earth, the human is a destructive in all the
No,
sense.
so
right?
this is you are superimposing. We are talking of what is your quality, and you are talking of how the quality is being misused.
Yeah,
These are two different things. If you say that my son is intelligent but he is doing wrong things, why he is doing wrong things is a very different discussion. We are talking that whether he is stupid or intelligent. He is intelligent. My son is intelligent, right? So let us talk about that first. Human has an ability, that is very clear. Are you all convinced about this?
Yes, yes.
And this ability is not just meant for eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Is this also very clear?
Yeah.
Because this ability has something more. Of course we take care of our necessities, but we are not designed for that, because if you limit yourself to that, then animals have a better life than you.
Yes.
They do not need to work so hard to make both their ends meet. If my goal of my life is just to eat and sleep and mate and defend, mera, mine, if I have to do only that much in my life, then animals are doing that with less cost. You have struggled 20 years with a very enduring degree, so-called. And then you have an enduring job. And then with all these tantrums, you have to tolerate your own family members. irrespective of how everything is. Everyone is just tolerating each other and making things work somehow. It's not a bed of roses for anyone. So, if our life is just limited to that, then animals are better than us. So, the scriptures in the beginning only they say that, hey, don't become so boastful about you just because you have little bit more money than somebody else. You travel in a better car than somebody else or better things, because as far as that is concerned, animals are in their own happily doing things. They don't have to do so much engineering, so much research, so much testing, this, that. Every animal gets its counterpart. They have, at a certain age, they play, they do mischief, everyone does everything. Because you are not designed for that. You are designed to explore your intelligence, and that exploration has to go within, not without. The senses are designed to see outside, but from outside we have to make sense of it, not that we indulge in the sense. So what is happening? Because one does not have the sense of spiritual life, if you have no reference whatsoever, the tendency will be to get to indulge in whatever you see in front of you. That's what happens. Just like a small child, it needs to keep playing with the toys constantly, otherwise it feels very restless. And when you grow, you get tired of playing with those same toys. We get tired with our own family. These are toys of adults. Big buildings, big massive businesses, these are toys. Your best of your cars is a toy at the end of the day. Why that car? Because you just like it. Why you like it? No, there is no, yes, I like it. We don't always buy the best cars and the best things. We have something called likes. If someone tells you this is the best, still you will say, no, but I like this. We have so many likes. And if someone brings a better thing, then we'll give up what we have liked for 20 years. That also happens. So life is not just meant to indulge with the senses. Every single species is designed to develop a specific quality in us. For example, a species of dog, whichever soul acquires the body of a dog, that soul is developing a quality of loyalty. Every species is adding one quality to that living entity, to the Atma. And then the person comes to the point of being a human being. When you are a human being, if you have not developed your higher intelligence, which you have got it, but you have not taken it higher, you will take that intelligence and indulge in lower activities, lower species. So what Prakriti does is, it says that, oh, this person is behaving like this, so I have given him too much extra resource, which is not good for him, because it's a waste, right? If you want to just behave very animalistic, so might as well I give you an animal life. So you be a lion, that's, I think it is suitable to you. You be a tiger, you be a zebra, you be whatever. You be a lizard, you be a snake. Because your mindset is like that. It is the mindset which attracts the body. So Krishna tells this to Arjuna in the beginning. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajet ante kalevaram tam tamaveti kaunteya sada sattad bhavam. That, my dear Arjuna, now because you have such higher intelligence and you are not simply the body, use this body to understand the greater truths. Because whatever you meditate your entire life, whatever you think about it your entire life, at the time of death, that is going to be your summary of that consciousness, and you will attract a new body based on that. Prakriti is very kind, it's like a mother. Okay, my son or my child does not want to eat something, but like say you have raised several children. There must be times that you have made many things, but one of the child does not want to eat, right? And you feel irritated. Kal se main nahi banaungi, jo mila khao. It's, and you say that also. But then you are not happy. You will say, let me give him or her something. Chalo kuch nahi, ye kha lo, ye kha lo. You try to. So Prakriti is like that, like a mother. We think it's a punishment. No, Prakriti thinks that okay, this person, I gave him so much, but he has no value for it. He has a snake kind of a tendency. Give him a snake body. So then you become snake and you are happy. So what happens then? One quality is developed. So typically when you read scriptures, it says when somebody is one who cheats his trusted ones and loyal people and this and that, then he becomes a dog next life. Why? Because you need to learn loyalty. And therefore you see a species of dog, by default it is loyal. It is designed to be loyal. You don't teach loyalty to a dog. Like for a lion or a tiger, it is designed to kill. So even if you teach loyalty, there is always risk. It can always someday feel hungry and change over. But that doesn't generally happen with dogs unless if they become mentally sick and so on.
So today I learned a little bit more about soul from you. You said there is soul in animals and plants. So now we are eating plant food. So how does that work? We are killing the plant soul, right? And why did we choose? To kill the plant soul?
So see, life will only subsist on life. Life does not subsist on dead things. So, as a human being, then depending on the condition and the state of consciousness, different kinds of foodstuffs and everything is recommended. It's not justified that we eat plants just because they do not have blood as such. But the pain is caused to a living entity whenever we eat anything. And that pain is in proportion to the development of the consciousness and the body. For example, the nervous system. There is no central nervous system in a plant, so the pain is very less compared to those who are vertebrates, and the more nervous system is developed, the more is the pain, and more the pain, the more the violence. More the violence, more the consequence. So even as human beings, therefore, when we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, you may offer me leaf, flower, fruit and eat this as a human. However, this has to be done as an offering. Now, yad karoshi, yadashnashi, yadjiyoshi, dadasi, yad tapasyasi kaunteya, tad kurushva madarpanam. Krishna says this. Whatever you do it as an offering to me. Then it attracts no reactions. So generally, therefore in Indian systems, if you know, there is a concept, whenever you cook food, you offer it to God, you make and then eat prasad. The idea is this, that okay, I have, for procuring these vegetables also, I must have incurred some kind of sin. I must have done something. Maybe that plant was being eaten by some other insect and I snatched it away for my meal. Some other species was also dependent, तो उसका खाना कहाँ गया अभी? तो वो भी हो सकता है. So many things. And like we see there is some worm in the food and sometimes we just remove and throw it in the dustbin, right? So all those small reactions are definitely there which come. And therefore we at least offer it. That's the least we can do. But if we think that I will have a life where there will be absolutely no reaction whatsoever, that's not possible. Because jivo jivasya jivanam, it is a principle. Life subsists on life. The idea is, as you are human being, then make it minimal. Make it transcendental. So we don't follow just vegetarian diet. We follow a diet which is offered to God. And vegetarian is the least violent. The nervous system is least developed in the plants. That way. So when you eat fruits and vegetables, these are there not to hang on the plants for that, because they will anyways fall off, right?
Yeah.
So that we eat, so there is minimal even in that. The idea is basically you offer something. You don't consider, because I am vegetarian, I am the purest soul on the planet. No, that's not true. And let's say I eat vegetarian food, but then after having health and intelligence, I do things worse than what many meat eaters will be doing. That defeats the whole purpose of, it's another form of violence, right? So those are, So as you keep coming to the discussion, you learn many things of how karma theory, actions, food, charity, work, all these things can be devoted at least in the sattva gun. So human beings also eat food in mode of ignorance, which is meat and so on. Food in mode of passion, which is untimely, spicy and intense in tastes. And sattvic, which is not too aggravating. It is peaceful. You eat, you are not agitated, but you are satisfied. It is fresh. So all those things are there. In the 16th and 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, all those things are there. Different kinds of foods, different kinds of tapasyas, austerities and so on. Different activities. We learn many things. So I think because it's 9:05, we'll stop here. Right?
Sanjay, you have any questions?
His questions will never stop.
No, but I think he got some concepts clear, and I think all of you also.
Yeah.
No, it's good that he asked.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
And then Prabhuji. Maybe while taking prasad, if you have more questions or whatever, you can just talk to Prabhuji. We can end it now. Yeah, because people also have to leave. This is Jagannatha Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari 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 Bol.